Plasma-therm RIE training video. Introduction to Reactive Ion Etching. Reactive Ion Etching is a common dry etching technology which is used in the microfabrication. RIE is directional etching process in which the chemical etching is accompanied by the ionic bombardment. The sample should be placed on an earth-powered electrode. Next, the etching gases will be introduced to the vacuum chamber. When we apply our power to the electrodes, it will generate the plasma inside the chamber. The plasma will produce chemically reactive species. They could react with the substrate to form a volatile byproduct. We call this the chemical part of RIE process. The plasma also produces the high-energy ions. They could use ion bombardment to remove the materials without a chemical reaction. It is known as the physical part of RIE process. To develop an RIE recipe means you need to adjust the process parameters to balance the chemical and physical part of RIE process. Plasma-therm RIE is a standalone RIE system with a showerhead gas diffusion and a water-cooled earth platen. It could be used for the silicon oxide, silicon nitride etching process. The chamber could reach a base pressure in the 3 × 10⁻⁵ Torr range, and it could be operated in the pressure range of 10 mT to 100 mT. The following gases are installed: CF4, CHF3, SF6, and oxygen. The flow rate for each gas is set by a mass flow controller, and the pressure is controlled separately by a throttle valve between the chamber and the pump. All systems functions are controlled from the computer. The control program has both manual and auto modes. Our RIE system has a single process chamber. This chamber is equipped with a 8-inch water-cooled earth platen, and we can place the sample size and from small pieces up to 8-inch wafer on top of it. Please place your sample inside those recessed area of this plate. Then we will talking about the operation of this system. Before you use RIE, please reserve it online and log your information on paper logbook. Please remember to include the cleaning time in your reservation and also on the paper logbook. And during this COVID-19, so the lab 342 will limit only one user working inside it. So when you reserve the tool online, it will automatically block other user reserve the tool in the same lab. So this is for all the user and staff safety. So please follow the revision rule for this tool. You could find the paper logbook for RIE is on the small table near the monitor. So please log your usage on this paper logbook when you use this tool in lab. Step 1. Verify system status. Please sign in the logbook and confirm system is not in use. All the users need to run the clean recipe after their etch process. You should find there is a process complete window on the screen. And you could click on this OK button. It will go back to the regular option menu. If you find the user did not run the cleaning, please report to staff. And next, left-click the standby button and make sure the system on and standby both buttons are in the yellow status. Make sure the mechanical pump and also the turbo pump are properly on in the green status. If are in the red, also need to report to staff. There's no alarm. There's no warning. If there have alarm, like there's no air, no gas, and also then no pump, please also report to staff. Step 2. Vent chamber. To vent the chamber, we need to select utilities first, and then click on vent to vent the chamber. After clicking vent, the throttle valve will be closed. to disconnect the turbo pump from chamber, and the nitrogen will be introduced into chamber. The chamber pressure will go up. When the vent is completed, the chamber should be at atmosphere pressure. It will need around 1 to 2 minutes for this process. And when you check the chamber, you will find there have a gap between the lid and the lower base. Now it is vented, and we could open the chamber. Step 3. Load sample. Please put on gloves. Never put your bare hands inside the chamber or touch anything without gloves that go into the chamber. Carefully lift the reactor cover with one hand and place your sample in the recessed area of the bottom electrode with another hand. Before we close the chamber, we also need to clean the black O-ring seal area. So get a clean wipe and soak it with IPA, and then we can clean those whole O-ring area. Okay, so now we have sample inside, O-ring cleaned, and we could close the lid and ready for next step. Step 4, pump down chamber. We're pressing the chamber cover and select Utilities. Then click on Pump Chamber. For the first time, it only turns off the nitrogen gas flow, and we need to click on Pump Chamber again to pump down our chamber. Now you should hear opening the roughing valve and sucks air to the pump side. Then the chamber is vacuum, the sound will disappear. From chamber side, you could find there's no gap between the cover and the lower base. The chamber will be pumped down to 200 ml by roughing pump. When chamber pressure below than 200 ml, the roughing valve will be closed, throttle valve will be open. And now we use the turbo pump, keep pumping down the chamber down to 0 ml. And we have the turbo pump, so the pressure should be lower than 0 ml because we use a manometer now, so the 0 ml is the lowest number for the manometer. And now we can use ion gauge to detect the chamber pressure. We choose Utilities here and click ion gauge on. And now this is the real pressure for our chamber. And we wait until the chamber pressure is below than 3 times minus 5 Torr. So this will need around 6 to 10 minutes. And for the chamber pressure lower than 3 times minus 5 Torr. Now the pressure is below than 3 times 10 to minus 5 Torr. And we could turn off the ion gauge. We choose Utilities here and click ion gauge off. We need to make sure the ion gauge is off before we run our etching process. RIE etch process can be performed in the manual mode or in the auto mode. For your etch process, please choose manual mode, and for the clean recipe, we could use the auto mode. Firstly, we will talk about how to run etch process by manual mode. Make sure the system is under standby status, and then select Service. Click on Manual Mode to set the process parameters. If systems are not under standby, for example under Ready, and the manual mode is not available. Here we could set the pressure, the gas selection, gas flow, the etching time, and also the RF power. If you are not sure the parameters range, and you could use this as a reference. For example, for the RF power, you could set 0 up to 300 watts. Pressure, you could set from 10 to 100 millitorr. And for the etching gas, the flow range are different for different gases. The maximum etching time for each run should be 30 minutes. We also provided several reference recipes for silicon oxide etch process. This is based on the PECVD silicon oxide without any etch mask on top of it. If your silicon oxide dependent by other mode or the with mask layer, it may have little difference on etching rate. Please use a dummy sample to calibrate your rate first and then work on your real sample. And here we set the recipe, we set the pressure to 70 millitorr, CF4 set to 0 SSM, oxygen set to the 16 SSM, the CHF3 set to 0, and SF6 we set to the 4 SSM. For the etch time we set to 1 minute, and RF power we set to 300 watts. We click on Gas on first. Wait the gas flow stable. If you find it's in the yellow color, it's not stable. If it's in the dark green color, it means it is stable. And next, we click on pressure and wait the pressure stable. We go to the regular menu. So here you can find the throttle valve will be closed. To maintain the pressure, go to your set value. And also you can find the oxygen, SF6, the valves for those gas lines are open, and those two gases will mix and introduced to our chamber. And when the gas flow and pressure stable, we click on RF on, and after several seconds, it will have the plasma inside the chamber and for our etching process. And you could check it through the viewport here. And during the process, please check the reflect power and DC voltage. For reflect power, we need it as small as possible. Usually it's 1 or 0. If you find it's more than 10% of your forward power, like you set your power is 100, it's more than 10, report it to staff. The DC voltage is parameter for the whole etch process. It is related with the parameters and also with the chamber status. Once time down to 0, it will automatically turn off the power supply, the pressure controller, and also the gas supply. And now the etch process is completed. And we need to use the nitrogen for the purge before we open the chamber. We click on purge and let nitrogen flow for 30 seconds to 1 minute. And then we click the purge off. We could run the purge 2 to 3 times. And now the purge is completed. We could click the exit to exit manual mode. And we are ready to vent the chamber and get our sample out. Step 6. Vent the chamber. Choose the utilities here, click on Vent to vent the chamber. After clicking Vent, the throttle valve will be closed. Disconnect the turbo pump from the chamber, and the nitrogen will be introduced to the chamber. Chamber pressure will go up. And you also could find the gap between the upper and the lower base will become larger and larger during the whole venting process. When the chamber pressure is at atmospheric pressure, and we could open the chamber now. Step 7. Unload the sample. Please put on gloves and carefully lift the reactor cover, and then you can unload the sample and from the chamber. It's better to use a tweezer to unload it. And also remember one hand to hold it, another hand to unload it. And then clean the O-ring area and close the chamber. Step 8. Pump down chamber. With one hand press the chamber cover and select the utilities. Click on pump chamber to run the pump down. We need to click it twice here. Firstly, we will pump down chamber through the roughing pump. When the chamber pressure below than 200 ml, the throttle valve will open to connect turbo pump with chamber and keep pumping the chamber down to 0 ml. And now we are ready to run the clean recipe. Step 9, running clean recipe. Choose the process, click Load to open the process selection window, choose the user clean, and then click OK button. It will load the clean recipe on screen. And next we click the Ready button and wait until the ready mode temperature completed, and then click Run button. The screen will change to step 1. Here we do not need to turn the ion gauge on to check the pressure because we have this step in the auto recipe. It will automatically turn on the ion gauge, check the pressure, and wait it until below than 3 × 10⁻⁵ Torr, and then we'll introduce the gas to run the clean recipe. So user need to stay here and wait the pressure drops, and then log the information on the logbook, and then you could leave. The total cleaning time will be around 25 to 30 minutes, depending on the different pumping downtime. User does not need to wait here until the whole cleaning process finished, but you still need to include the cleaning time and when you reserve the tool online. The clean recipe will run automatically to remove the residues in the chamber after user's etch process and also prepare a clean chamber for the next user usage. So every user need to run the cleaning and after process. So now let's go to step 2, and we have the oxygen SF6 introduced to the chamber with the pressure and also the gas flow stable, and then we will apply the power to the chamber and wait the power supply and stable there, and we start running the etching process, cleaning process inside the chamber. And once the 20 minutes cleaning is finished, it will turn off the power controller, the pressure controller, and also the gas supply. And then pumping down the chamber, and we finish the whole cleaning process. And when it is finished, you will find there will have this window on the screen and tell you the cleaning process is finished. Special notes and restrictions. Please read the COVID-19 Plasma-therm RIE safety measures carefully before you use this tool. And you could find the file from this link. And you can only use the Plasma-therm RIE if you have got the training from staff and you already reserved it online and also log your usage on the paper logbook. And during COVID-19, the Lab 342, we limit only one user maximum work inside it. So when you reserve the RIE online, it will automatically block the other machine in this lab. Make sure you are safe and during your usage in the lab. And this tool is reserved for the following materials: silicon, silicon dioxide, or silicon nitride. Etching of materials other than these materials, you need to set email to staff, get approval from staff, and then you can try your process and with this machine. You must wear gloves if you need to touch any parts inside the chamber, or if you need to unload your sample into the chamber or from the chamber. Only the clean sample, and that is do not have the outgas, and you can use inside the chamber. No powder, no liquid sample in the chamber. And when you are done with your work, always clean the chamber and leave the chamber under vacuum. RIE Troubleshooting Table. So if you find that there have alarms on the screen when you go to the lab, it may be due to the issues with compressed air, nitrogen gas flow, cooling water, or the pump. Please do not run your process. Report it to staff. If you cannot pump down the system, and you can try to press that chamber cover and select Utility, click on the pump down again to see it's working or not. If it's still not working, please report to staff. Or if you already find there have that the red color for the pump, for the turbo, for the roughing pump, and that is due to the pump issue caused this problem, please report to staff also. And if the manual mode is not available, and you can check, make sure your system is under standby. If it's under on or under ready status, it may not let you to choose the manual mode for your process. If during the auto clean recipe, there have like the power, gas, pressure out of the complaints issue, and there may have alarm on that alarm line, and sometimes it's due to the software issue. And if you click on hold, it can fix it. If it's not have that the alarm pop up again, and you can continue for that the clean recipe. If you still have the same alarm, report to staff. Or if it's due to like the power supply have problems, the gas tank is empty, or the pump or the valve is not working, it may also have the same problem. For that it happens, report to staff. And if you find for your reflect power is very high, and for your recipe, no matter it's your manual mode process or the auto clean recipe, it means it's more than 10% of your fault power. That may be because of our power supply have some problems, or maybe the auto tuning network is not tuning properly. And for that happens, please stop your process and report it to staff. If no staff is available and instrument is not working, you should do the following. Please press the About button to stop your auto recipe and send email to the microfab staff at ml.illinois.edu. So if it's during like your venting, pumping down, it has some issue, and you can take the picture of the screen and send email to staff. If possible, please stay by the instrument while trying to contact the microfab staff member. If it is necessary to leave the instrument, please leave a note on the RIE stating the instrument is done and log this information on paper logbook. If a dangerous situation is evident, like there have the smoke, have the fire, or you smell some unusual chemical smell in this room, and you could press the EMO button, which is on the front of this machine, and notify all the other users in the room 342 to evacuate and leave the room immediately. You could then contact the proper emergency personnel from a safe place. After watching this training video, if you have any questions about this machine's operation, or during your process later you have any questions about the process development, welcome to contact me. You can call my office phone, you can go to my office, send me an email, and I'm here to help you on the operation and the process development, and I hope you could get the good results with our machine here.